Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dog Bowl Food Truck. I'm not gonna lie, for this recording session, I'm not feeling too great. Don't worry, remember that I record these way ahead in advance, so I'll probably be better by the time this comes out. Nothing in particular is happening, it's just, life is changing and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But for now, I figured I would do something that I love doing, which is making stuff for people to enjoy, people to laugh at, and maybe stuff that I can reach out and touch your life and have a positive impact. Now, since I'm not reading Tiny Bunny right now, I can. There we go, get a little closer. So, where we last left off, TJ, Leo, Chase, and Kudzu were all over in Peyton having a soccer game. And Chase was having a moment of having a conversation with Kudzu about why he moved to Echo, and Kudzu's answer was the people. Huh? People are the reason why I left Peyton. Oh. Peyton is technically a small city with just 70,000 people. Compared to Pueblo, that's nothing. The more people there are, the worse it is. It's the same anywhere. Oh, okay. Kudzu goes on. Sure, in Echo there's 100 shitty people, but in Peyton there's 50,000 of them. I prefer Echo. His tone is so dark at this point that I don't even respond. Something definitely happened here in Peyton, and I don't dare ask what it was. Luckily, I'm saved. An awkward silence as Leo haphazardly kicks the ball in our direction, and TJ comes running up to us. Damn it! Alright, I think that's enough for today. He jogs over, wiping his face. Oh, man, I need a shower. You two getting along? When Kudzu doesn't say anything, I pipe up. Yeah. Leo frowns, clearly sensing that something's wrong. Well, okay. Anyway, let's go out and get some ice cream. I've really been craving it. I stand up slowly, knees popping again as we all pile into the car. As we drive, TJ continues to stare out the window, but his ears are up and he doesn't seem so depressed anymore. I lean over towards him. Are you feeling better? TJ turns to look at me, smiling. Yeah, it was fun playing with you guys. I grin. You are insanely good. He shakes his head. Not compared to the other guys at school. I'm not aggressive enough, but it's fun. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. TJ nods. It's too bad we can't come back and do it again tomorrow. Huh? Why not? Not that I'm crazy about doing it again, but I'm not sure what would prevent it. He looks at me. Well, your project. I frown. I don't think... Hey, what flavor do you guys want? Leo practically shouts back at us. I look around. We aren't even at the ice cream parlor yet. That doesn't seem to matter to TJ, though. Oh, cookie dough. It's been so long since I've had it. Oh my gosh, yes! Cookie dough ice cream. Really? I didn't know you liked that flavor. And somehow Leo's able to keep up the conversation about ice cream flavors all the way to the actual ice cream parlor. I decide the shots I got earlier in the day were too bright, not representative of the sad state of the town that I wanted. The setting sun does a better job of capturing the desolation and bittersweet depression of it all. A metaphor for an end, in a way. Honestly, that's kind of why I like liminal spaces. They feel like these monuments that we built. These massive beacons of what we can accomplish as a species, these grand structures, these great open spaces, these environments where we have completely shut out all of the world, all of the nature, all of the animals, all of the plants, the weather, and we have said, this is our space. And when they're vacant, when they're dark, when they're left empty, it's really kind of unnerving. At least that's how I hope it comes across. I leaned back against the old, rusted car, clicking through the images I'd taken. It feels very quiet, despite the wildlife around me. Again, I gotta ask, is this like Cowboys of Moo Mesa sort of deal, where only some, like a meteor struck the Earth and only some of the animals got to ascend to bipedal them? Like, is this like in Since November, where there's a zoo of like the non-anther animals? do young like kids have existential crises when they see the feral equivalents of themselves? Are there just regular like feral otters roaming around, or are there just like certain species that have never been brought up and they just, you know, because I mean, we started this with Leo eating, I think it was like a roast beef or something, or like a Philly cheesecake, something like that. So it's like, cows are on the menu, boys. And so that's why it's easy for me to pick out the footsteps headed in my direction. At first, I think it's Leo. I wonder how he's finished up with his shower so quickly. But then I realize that the crunch of dried vegetation is too soft, too light to be Leo. Oh, not you again! I look up, kind of hoping to see Kudzu, but instead I'm greeted with the sight of Clint headed in my direction. My grip tightens on the camera, watching as he approaches around the bend of the tracks. He doesn't see me at first. As he gets to the tracks, he hops onto one of the metal rails and balances there, walking along like he's on a tightrope. Does everyone in Echo just come here to take a walk? I mean, bruh, it's a landmark. I mean, I'm just saying it's a landmark. Also, I mean, it's peak board activities where it's like, hey, look, a decently wide but still narrow thing that's only a tiny bit up off the ground. Let's just balance on it. It's like when a guy finds hair scrunchies and starts playing with them, or like the hair clip mouth monster things. I think about walking around the train car, out of his line of sight, and hide until he passes me. While I'm thinking this, he loses his balance and stumbles off the rail, and that's when he looks up. Of course, I'm the first thing he sees, and we both just sort of stand there, watching each other. I don't know what to do. Cud said Clint probably didn't remember anything from last night, but I'm not willing to bet on it. It does look like he's not even sure who I am, though. His eyes are squinted, almost shut, mouth all screwed up, as he scratches his head comically. He leans forward, almost to the point of falling over again. Definitely on something. At that moment, a look of recognition spreads across his face, and his mouth opens wide. Then he starts jogging straight for me. Oh, God. The abruptness of his movements startle me, and I almost drop the camera. I angle myself away from the car so that I'm not backed up against it, and start taking steps back as he gets closer. He stops, though, about 10 feet away, and points at me. Hey, I know you. I I'm at a loss for what to say. He's wobbling back and forth, his eyes wide open. Your name. There's an awkward pause as I try to determine whether or not he's asking a question. My name? Chase? Why did I tell him that? You're Leo's gay friend. I'm distracted again because that's when I see the handle of a pistol just poking out from the front of the waistband of Clint's jeans. Oh boy. Clint glares. Fucking Leo. Why do you hang out with that creep? Okay, that's... Clint's a guy, so it's not meth banshee. Coming from a meth ghoul, that's... I don't like this. I'm looking around, trying to decide the best way of escape in case he loses it. I mean, he's always saying shit to me, always saying shit about my dad. He had a perfect fucking life and rubs it in my goddamn face. I take a few innocuous steps back so that the end of the car is right next to me in case I have to duck behind it. I don't know. I don't think Leo's life was that easy. It was pretty bad back in his country. Fucking slur, coming here to take my fucking life. Even worse. No comment. I'm not gonna get into that. Couldn't go home and be happy. I couldn't go outside and be happy. I can't be happy anywhere. So for those of you that might not be watching my Tiny Bunny series, there's a character in that who is essentially a school bully, and me and Malsons talked a bit about how they likely didn't have a happy home life, and that's where a lot of childhood bullies and like delinquency stuff comes from. And I kind of stand by that because people who are hurt will turn around and hurt somebody else. Ask me how I know. you catch my cold? I mean, it's sad and it's bad. It's so bad when I look back and I reflect on what happened and the things that happened to me and how I turned around and perpetuated that cycle for a bit before I finally was able to start to really wrestle and grapple with it. But I kind of want to say I get it, because I wasn't an outdoor kid. I didn't have fun outside. I didn't like outside. When I went to school, I didn't like it. Like, I had friends, but it was one of those things where I had to deal with being the butt of the joke a few times a week, and being the weird kid even in my group of friends. And then I would come home and, you know, I've spoken about it before, but, you know, I didn't have a positive relationship with my brother. I apparently had way worse of a relationship with my stepdad than I realized at the time, because I just thought there was a wall that was about, you know, like waist high, you know what I mean? Where it's like there was a wall there, but we could still reach over and talk to each other. I didn't realize how high up that wall that he put up actually was. And so I'd go online Because I thought online I would be accepted, I would be loved, I would be... I don't know. That's how I met my first boyfriend. Several years of emotional abuse later, and suddenly, the next time I get a boyfriend, I don't know what to do. All I know is that I hurt on the inside and I can't deal with it, so I just tell him I never loved him and I back away from him. But just the point that I'm getting at is when you hurt, when your cup is filled with nothing but pain, a lot of the times all that means is when other people take a drink, or you let other people take a drink, all they're gonna get is pain in return. And it's not your fault. You weren't the one who put yourself in that position. It's just a matter of growing and learning from what you've done. Realizing and accepting what happened to you, and then realizing and accepting that you were part of the cycle. And then making steps and growing as a person to realize that the cycle ends with you. And if I had to guess, it looks like Clint doesn't have the capacity where he is in his life right now to end that cycle. I mean, for God's sake, look at his tail, and you can actually, see it without me having to throw the sprite on screen. Look at his tail. Look at his teeth. It's like, I'd look disheveled on a good day. I don't look like that. And I mean, that's as much as I want to hate Clint, and I want to be like, oh, he's just obviously the character we're supposed to hate because it's a drug addict. We're supposed to... The thing you have to remember is that drugs are a symptom. Addictions are a symptom of other shit going on. And I mean, if it's what he says is true, is that Leo constantly is riling him up, being a jerk, bringing up the fact that Clint's dad got thrown away. I don't know. This whole situation is making me really uncomfortable. For a lot of reasons, but we should get back to it and press forward. He sneers at me. And you fuck him, don't you? I just stare at him and don't say anything. I feel like anything I say could set him off, but he waits patiently, expecting an answer. Clint. Don't you! He shudders visibly, clenching his eyes shut. Imagining you licking his fat ass is disgusting. Oh no. No. Clint, don't fall for the propaganda data poo-poo. And then put that on the mouth and data poo-poo. No. Well, at least this explains where a certain trend in the fan art came from. I don't even care that you're rainbowing around. But with him, if I wasn't so afraid of the whole situation, I probably would have laughed just then. I take another step back. Hey, I was actually just about to head out. I'm doing this project. That's why I'm here. He glares at me. Me and Leo broke up a few years ago. We're just friends. Oh my god. Oh. You don't know what he's like. The things he did to me. It was way worse than I ever told it to you. Than I ever did to you. So, I'm not a psychologist, never studied psychology. But this posture, people's body language has a people will have two conversations, right? They'll have what's coming out of their mouth and then they'll have what the rest of their body is doing. Like, and in Carl's route, we had the dream where Carl laid the fucking beat down on Clint. And it's like, again, I have to ask, with Clint's teeth, how much of that was the meth and how much of that was Leo? Like, I genuinely have to ask this. And on top of that, it's like, I don't know. This is my hackles are going up again. My GBs are getting heabied. But hey, I do need to head out. We can talk about this later. He sees me stepping around the car and immediately his hand shoots to the handle of the gun. Hey! I freeze, watching his hand, preparing to throw myself to the ground if he pulled it out. At the same time, I'm praying that he'll shoot his dick off if he does. He glares at me. The hell are you even doing out here anyway? With shaking hands, I point to the camera around my neck. I, I told you, I'm, I'm doing a project. I try to smile as I hold it up. Just about, Echo. What the fuck is there to say about it? His hand loosens on the pistol, and I manage to steady my voice enough to actually speak. Well, there's a history to it, you know? There's history to everything. I'm just trying to figure it out. Clint looks around, seeming to forget about his gun. Oh, like his railroad. Yeah, like this railroad. Clint's eyes are vacant as he stares at the ground, and I think about making a run for it again. Okay, so real quick, I will just say, one size does not fit all. Uh, one size absolutely does not fit all. But if you're talking to somebody who's obviously in an altered state and you feel threatened, now would be a good time to try and get them on a task or to maybe distance yourself with the implication that they may follow you so you can then get to safety even if they are following you. Like, I don't have good advice for this situation because I've only been put in this situation a couple times, and one of them, oh my god, okay, I have to tell this story because I don't know when the fuck else I'm going to tell this story. But I used to work at a Subway, right? And that's Subway, the sandwich shop, not an actual Subway. So I used to work at a Subway, and there was this time where I was on my break, when I was eating my free 6-inch. I was just kind of just sitting there, eating whatever. And there was this lady that had walked in and sat down with two of the other customers and sat with them and started talking to them. And shortly after, they got up and left. But the lady stayed. And then after they left, the lady got up and was talking to me. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, cool. And, I have, even though I'm on break, it's still very obvious that I work there. So customer service, politeness be required. And eventually she says, oh, you've got something on your face. And I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'll get it when I meet. And she's like, no, you've got it right there on your cheek. And I was like, mentally, I'm like, okay. I was gonna wait until I was done eating before I got it, but if she's gonna be insistent about it, I'm just gonna get it off my face. So I wipe my face with a napkin, and she goes, "Oh, sweetie, here, let me get that for you." I have never met this woman in my life, and she licks her thumb and proceeds to wipe it off on my face. And my manager saw that shit happening, saw me absolutely stunned, unable to figure out what the hell to do in this situation. And she said, hey, yeah, can you come back on the clock real quick? And as I came up to her, she whispered to me, just go in the back and eat. It's like, you just go in the back and eat. So that was an insane thing that happened to me. And come to find out, the lady was on something or was not mentally all there, and her daughter's like BFF came in, and we're like, okay, we found her, and like was trying to get her out. And the only way we could kind of get her out the door was to engage her in conversation and try and like lead her towards the door by like implying like by like body language implying that we're going outside, and me being like, oh hey, let me hold the door open for you. And that kind of got her outside. Like, it was a like half-hour long ordeal to get this insane lady out the store. Oh my god. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, you do whatever you have to do to keep this altered person who is armed calm, and do whatever you have to do to continuously move towards a safer location. Right now, it looks like Clint's a lot a bit altered, and very interested to know what Chase is actually doing here. Which, given like the stuff I've seen from the smoke room, and knowing that like the smoke room was originally gonna be a prequel to Echo, which apparently that is no longer the case. I just gonna say I find Clint's fur very interesting, but let's move on. Oh, I jump as he snaps his head up. My dad once told me that his dad knew a guy that got killed here back in like the 50s. Oh? Despite the fact that there's a crazy meth head in front of me with a gun, I still find myself becoming interested. Yeah, like, some guy was trying to hop on one, like, way back when that's how people would get around. So this guy was trying to hop on this train here when it was leaving the station, but he missed jumping on. Clint sits down in the dry and dusty weeds and spreads his legs out over the rails. And he falls down like this, and it runs over his legs. Clint brings both his hands down in a chopping motions over his thighs. Blood goes everywhere, and yeah, he's dead, right? He looks up at me, and I realize he's actually waiting for an answer. I guess his questions are never rhetorical. I would assume so, right? Wrong! They found him a few hours later, and somehow the fucker's still alive. Oh, I'm already starting to doubt the story, or at least his version of it. The stumps is packed with dirt, so he stopped the bleeding. But he's gone crazy by now. He's going on about some creature that came to him and spoke whispers in his ear. Well, at the very least, I can just stick this story somewhere slow in the project to keep things somewhat interesting. One of those local urban legends type stuff. But then he goes to the hospital and they think he's gonna live. But he jumps out the fucking window and kills himself. Clint stands up and brushes himself off. My dad used to tell me that story a lot. Not like I wanted to hear it. But he liked telling me things I didn't want to hear. I don't quite know what to say to that, but I want to keep on his good side, so I make a show of pulling a notebook out of my bag. So once again, anything you can do to keep them calm. And before we leave today, because it is about time, I want to tell another quick story. So my grandfather on my biological on my biological sperm donor's side, uh, my grandfather's grandfather or uncle, somewhere in there, just way back in the family tree. So mind you, this is like somewhere in like the 20s, I think. Uh, no, not that far back, just somewhere around there. He was a hobo, like an actual like railway hobo. And so he was talking. He would came back one day wearing a hat, and my grandfather asked him like, "Oh, you bought a hat? I like it, and because it's nice." Which is weird because hobo wearing all dirty, ratty things, but one piece of clothing that's good. It's like okay, all right, that's interesting. So he tells my grandfather the story of how he got the hat. You know how he got the hat? He apparently was hopped in a freight car, and was kind of waiting for the train to take off. And as it was pulling out in one direction, there was a passenger train in the lane on the rail lane next to it going the opposite direction. Now, mind you, both of these trains were just pulling off, so they're going pretty slow. And there was a guy in the passenger train wearing this hat, leaning his head out, looking around, being all like, wow, look at all this, just like tourist behavior. So he just reaches out, plucks that hat off that guy's head, waves it at him as they're going by, and then he puts it on and goes back inside the freight car. Like, shit, I guess. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say that our time for now has gone ahead and come to an end, and I would really quickly like to thank I'm sorry, I'm reading your username. It's James and then a bunch of numbers. I see you in my comment section. You kind of showed up out of nowhere, like a couple other people. Like most people that are commenting on almost every video, I can trace back to somewhere, whether that be my Fur Affinity page, my Blue Sky page, or No Playing Games. I can trace. I don't know where you came from, but I see you watching all my Echo videos, leaving comments on almost every one of them, and on a few of my episodes, leaving multiple comments. I see you, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, watching, and letting me know what you think. And also letting me know about a few Easter eggs and weird quirks of Echo on a game, like the game itself sort of thing. I find it kind of cool that you know all these things. Um, and also, this is just a thing for everyone in general who speaks to me through comments. That includes people like Chandelure and everybody else. YouTube will notify me, like give me a notification on my little bell when I receive a comment. So that's how I know to go to that video, look at it, do my usual thing, and I'll respond to it. Now the problem is that if you respond to my reply to your original comment, YouTube does not notify me of that. So I've ended up going back and seeing a couple videos where there was a response to my reply, and I felt bad because I didn't realize you had, responded to my response. The reply, re. So if that happens, please don't take it like I'm ignoring you or I'm not interested in the conversation. It's just YouTube doesn't let me know, and I've got almost 100 videos at this point. So it's actually I'll probably have over 100 by the time this video comes out. We'll figure it out. So it's just I don't get notified. But with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good night, guys.